Hey guys, and welcome back to my podcast episode. And I am so excited. Why do I sound so loud and why am I shouting? Almost shouting though. It is because I am always excited to do a podcast episode the same way I'm always excited to, do a YouTube video. But, let me leave the gist about my excitement for another day. Okay. Today, on today's podcast episode, we're going to be talking about how to introduce yourself in English with confidence. Now, have you been in a scenario where you were asked, what is your name? What's your name? And you were like, my name is, okay, tell us about yourself. You're like, I don't really know. You just like stop. Oh my God, you're just like making a mess. You're stammering, you're sweating, you're so tense. You feel like, oh my God, I know what to say. I don't know how to put it. Oh my God, the world is falling on my head. Oh my God, what is wrong with me today? Okay, be serious. Fine. Okay, so today I'm not going to be alone. James is with me. So, hello James, how are you doing today?
Hey Ruth, and yes, I'm so glad to be back here again. It was a wonderful last episode, and I'm really hopeful, that our listeners today can, learn how to introduce themselves in English without any fuss at all.
Yes, and that is so true. Now, one of the very first lessons that, English language learners get is how to introduce yourself. Whether it's primary school or secondary school, or maybe university, maybe year one or something, you're taught how to introduce yourself. But it's very possible for you to lose touch, or it's very possible for you to get nervous. Like, you can be in a situation where maybe you meet strangers and you're like, you're asked, what is your name? I need to calm down. So you're in that situation where, what's your name is a question, and you're thinking about what your name is, or you're thinking of, how to say it. And that can be a very weird, situation.
And so we've broken the podcast, the steps. Would I call them steps? Can I say they're steps? Or, ways to introduce yourself, or things you can do, to sound better.
Did you say freak, James? Because I think that nobody actually, sets out to be, embarrass themselves. I think nobody, just sets out to embarrass themselves, in conversations. But these things happen, and that's why this podcast is very important. Maybe you found yourself in that kind of situation where you're like sweating, you're nervous, and you make a mess out of the whole situation, and that is not really good. And so let's just get started, James. So what is number one?
So the first thing you can do is to remember phrases to break the ice. Now, break the ice is a common English expression, and it means to get comfortable with someone. So maybe you meet someone at the bar, or you're meeting a total stranger for the first time. Now, it's highly unlikely that you're going to ask the person, what's your mom's name? And, it's going to be very strange. Just walk up to me and you tell me, hello, what's your mom's name? And I'm like, oh, what's your problem? But then these icebreakers just, help you get very familiar with the person.
Now, concerning icebreakers, there is no one-size-fits-all ways to break the ice when you meet someone new, or you want to have a conversation with someone new. There are many ways, but one thing is important, and that is I recommend that you memorize 1 or 2 or 3 ways. You can talk to someone when you meet them for the first time, and then memorize them and then know them very well, so that you don't sound very uncomfortable. Just picture someone who meets you for the first time and it just sounds so unnatural, like he's trying to put up an accent or something like that. It's really weird. So for an example, I and James are going to pose like we just met for the first time, and we're going to have a conversation. So let's go. Hello, I'm Ruth.
Nice to meet you, Ruth. My name is James.
Pleasure's all mine. Now, although this introductions sound very formal, I say it's better than, sounding like nervous or, just, stammering or stuttering or something?
Now, when you're meeting someone for the very first time, it's really important that you look and sound confident, because I've been in very weird situations or scenarios where people, walked up to talk to me, and maybe someone was like looking down at his shoes, I don't know, fiddling with his nails or trying to fiddle with the phone or something. One thing to note when you want to talk to someone, maybe you're meeting someone new, is first of all that people do not eat people. At least they're not cannibals. People do not eat people. Yes, so people want to have a conversation with you. So be bold about it, be confident about it, be confident in yourself. Yeah, confidence in yourself is one of the most important, tips and steps that you should really take, heed to. You should really be careful not to forget, because you can lose all the confidence and then just become like a very horrible nervous wreck, and that is not good.
Yes, James. And if someone like wants to talk to me and they end up doing all those things, I'll just see them like, okay, maybe they're not serious, or maybe they don't want to talk, or maybe they are shy. I mean, everybody needs to come out of their shells.
Absolutely, Ruth, absolutely. Now, after introducing yourselves to each other or the person you just met, now the next best thing to do is to ask very basic questions or ask for very basic information. Please do not go about asking for very sensitive or personal, information from the get-go. That will not go down well. So you can ask questions like, how are you? Where are you from? What are you doing here? Or what brings you here? You can also say, are you having a good time? So these are good questions, very basic, straight to the point, to help kick off and sustain the conversation.
Now, another icebreaker, that you can use is a compliment. Everyone loves a nice compliment once in a while or every time. A compliment about my new dress, a compliment about my shoes, about my phone, or whatever. So find something you like about them and tell them. But you have to be a little bit careful here when picking an object to compliment, because a rule of thumb is to avoid discussing permanent characteristics. Of being in a situation where someone did not like his legs. He had really what we call bull legs, and he did not like his legs. But I saw his legs as fancy, and I was like, oh my god, I love your legs. And he was like, I was not flirting. No, I was not flirting. I just, just complimented him. But on the contrary, it definitely did not go down well with him, because he thought I was like making a mockery of him. And I was like, no, your legs really are nice. So the best thing to do is to stay away from permanent characteristics of a person, because you don't know how the person feels about maybe their eyes or their legs or their nose or something. Don't go saying, oh, I love your nose. Like, what does that? Please do not do that. Don't tell me you love my nose.
Yes, this is really also a fun one for me, because someone has told me maybe, I love your hair. And at the time I was not really feeling like I liked my hair, so I thought they were like trying to make fun of me. But honestly, in their hearts of hearts, they're just, trying to compliment me, as simple as that is. So it's better, as Ruth said, to stay away from permanent characteristics of a person.
Really, really nice examples of giving a compliment are, oh, I like your dress. You have a beautiful dog. Is that your car? I really like it. Very neat compliment, straight to the point, no strings attached, and that is what we're going for here.
So very quickly, we're going to do a very short exercise. And in this exercise, you're going to prepare basic answers about yourself, because when you meet people and when you need to introduce yourself to people, you need to do it with confidence and perfect English at the moment, and also you need to keep your answers short and simple. So take a moment, maybe pause the podcast and answer the questions that I'm going to give you right now. Number 1, where are you from? Number 2, what do you do? Number 3, what are you doing here? Number 4, do you like your job? Number 5, how was your trip? Number 6, are you having a good time? Number 7, what do you think of the weather? What do you think of the weather? Now, for those in the UK, you know that we like talking about the weather. Maybe someone from the US or, the United States of America might not really be keen about the weather. But the Brits can spend quite quality time talking about the weather. Okay, the next question is, what do you think about the movie? Or what do you think about the event? Or what do you think about the conference? And lastly, what do you think of the restaurant? Now, even when questions are specific, you can have a general response prepared and say something positive and then add in more details to make and keep the conversation interesting.
Now, the last thing I like you to do is to have an exit plan. I think this is what so many people don't really do. Have an exit plan, really. So not all conversations are going to be good. So if you find you have nothing more to say or you're not connecting with the person you're talking to, you need to find a way to leave politely. Otherwise, there could be a lot of awkward silences, starings, just uncomfortableness everywhere. So here are a few key lines for leaving politely. Well, it's been lovely talking to you. Best of luck. Or nice to meet you, James. Or I hate to run off, but I need to go. Enjoy your time here. Let me give you my card before I go. And as you say these phrases, you can hold out your hand for a handshake and making it clear that you're ending the conversation. And remember to be confident and to smile.
Finally, try saying these expressions a few times at home or with a friend so that when you meet someone new, you'll be prepared. So thank you very much for listening to our podcast, Learn English with Ruth podcast, and we'll see you in episode 6. Bye.